new HealthSense Revolution software product, which is the premier web service, and in fact the only web service today that is designed to analyze and enable practices and ASCs to maximize their payer allowables. Revolution Software is both rich in function and easy to use. What we're going to focus on is the value coming out of Revolution Software, namely the reports and the business models, the contracts analyzer, and the document repository. What I will show you, however, is how easy it is to get data into Revolution Software. First, when you register in Revolution Software, you determine how many payers you would like to analyze, as well as whether or not you would like to perform an analysis both for an ASC, one or more payers for an ASC, and one or more payers for physician practice. In this particular example, we have a charge master for both an ASC and a physician practice, and we have a single payer analysis for simplicity. We can analyze as many payers as we'd like to analyze, and the tool does not limit you or charge you for additional payer analyses. It's a one price fits all kind of business model where we charge per practice and or ASC. And in fact, you can analyze both ASC data and practice data in a single license. As far as the charge master is concerned, basically all you do to start using Revolution is you edit the charge master and you upload a file. And the file that you upload, you simply browse for, and all it looks like is a basic file that has several columns of data. Your CPT codes, the number of procedures that you perform per year for that particular code, the bill charges, which is your retail price for the code, and if it's physician practice rather than ASC, you need to specify whether or not this code is predominantly performed in an office setting or a facility-based or hospital setting. And the reason that you need to do that is Medicare differentiates your reimbursement and often will reimburse more for the same procedure that can be performed in both an office as well as facility setting if it's performed in an office. But the point that I'd like to leave you with here is it's very easy to load data into Revolution Software. It's nothing more than a spreadsheet of 4 columns of data, and the only additional column that's required is payer allowable, which is loaded in a separate file which simply has the code and the payer allowables. And that's it. That's as easy as it is to get data into Revolution Software. Once the data is loaded, you may validate the data both in your charge master and the payer allowables. For illustration, I will use the physician data. And what you will notice is that you get a list of your codes, the descriptions, which we automatically pick up out of the Medicare tables that are already loaded into the tool, the procedures performed annually, the bill charges, the location, and then a field which allows you to either delete all the records or delete a single record. Just by way of illustration, we have the business logic built in to prevent you from destroying your charge master by mistake as we ask you to confirm it. In any event, you may also sort any of these fields just to validate your codes before you move on to analysis. Basically, once you have your codes loaded and your payer allowables, and the payer allowable is the same exact information with the additional field of the payer allowable, what you then do is you move on to reports. And we have several different kinds of reports. You'll notice here we have an analytical report, a proximity report, and a contracts analysis. What I'm going to show you here is the analytical report, or the basic report in the tool for physician analysis. And first off, I'll take you to the punchline. The punchline is that for a single payer, we tell you what the percent reimbursement average is for that payer relative to Medicare in the locality. We also give you a weighted average, and we weight based upon the volume or frequency in which a procedure is performed, as well as the price of the procedure. Those are the 2 factors that we weight on, and that will also take into account the ebb and flow of surgeries and E&M codes through your practice. We then benchmark relative to regional or Medicare locality, state, as well as USA, to give you some idea of how you compare to others who have reported PPO agreements in your locality, state, and USA. And we provide you an exception table, and all this is the list of codes that are either in your charge master and you did not put a payer allowable for, or codes that had a payer allowable but could not find a Medicare payment. Either way, they cannot be used in the calculations, but we flag those just so you know any codes that may have been excluded and what the reason was. You can also view the data points, and this will tell you how many others have reported results, how many other payer results are for practices in your region, state, and USA. And you can also save this report as a spreadsheet if you choose to, and if you do in fact save it as a spreadsheet, what also happens is it automatically gets stored in our document manager under the HealthSense documents, and you therefore get an ongoing log of different documents and reports that are generated. You can also create your own folders and store all your contracts and manage them online in HealthSense Revolution. So back to the reporting capability for this particular payer. As far as the row level information, what you'll notice is that this one is in the Medicare locality of the rest of California, and besides the charge master data, which we looked at before, what we also get is the Medicare payment. That's how much Medicare reimburses for that particular code. The payer rate, or the payer allowable, that is how much the payer at 100% is willing to reimburse. This does not deduct out co-payments or anything like that. This is 100% of the payer reimbursement, as well as 100% of the Medicare rate. And then we look at the payer average percent of Medicare, which in this case is 99%, the division of the two. We look at the weight, and the weight is a very critical field because often in payer agreements there may be an opportunity to carve out specific codes for higher reimbursement than the rest of your codes, and the weight basically multiplies the payer rate, or the allowable, times the number of units. And if you simply use the arrows to sort in ascending or descending order, then you can get the codes, for instance, in descending order that are influencing reimbursement the most in your practice. In this case, you can see that there's a particular office visit, 99213, that comes to the top of the list as being the code that influences reimbursement the most. And then you get the payer average dollars in your Medicare locality. You get the regional average, the state and USA average, so that you can now benchmark your average, or 77% for that code, against the others. And you can also click a graph and get back results for that particular payer graphically, the same as you just saw in the table previously. And then it's all tied together for you in the summary table below, and you can also click on the summary to, at a glance, figure out how well you're being reimbursed on this particular payer agreement, both benchmarking the Medicare as well as others who have reported results for this code mix in your region, state, and USA. And as you can see, you're slightly below the Medicare and a little bit more below the region, state, and USA averages. So that's pretty much the basic report in the HealthSense Revolution tool. Some of the higher value functions of the tool will be covered in other modules. I encourage you to look very closely at our business models as well as our contract analyzer tool. Thank you for viewing this particular demo, and we look forward to you looking at the rest of the demos at the